Welcome to the reading of the Sabbath School lesson for the second quarter of 2022. Welcome to Lesson 3 in the series on Genesis. It's titled Cain and His Legacy, ready for teaching on April 16, and my name's Percy Harrold. Sunday, April 10, Cain and Abel. Read Genesis chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. What do we learn from these passages about the births of the two males? Genesis 4, beginning at verse 1. Now Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord. Then she bore again, this time his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. The first event recorded by the biblical author immediately after Adam's expulsion from the Garden of Eden is a birth. In the Hebrew phrase in Genesis 4 verse 1, the words the Lord are directly linked to the words a man, as the following literal translation indicates. I have acquired a man, indeed, the Lord himself. It is rendered by the International Standard Version as, I have given birth to a male child, the Lord. This literal translation suggests that Eve remembers the messianic prophecy of Genesis chapter 3 verse 15 and believes that she has given birth to her Saviour, the Lord. In Desire of Ages, page 31, we read, The Saviour's coming was foretold in Eden. When Adam and Eve first heard the promise, they looked for its speedy fulfillment. They joyfully welcomed their firstborn son, hoping that he might be the Redeemer. End of quote. In fact, Cain occupies most of the story. He not only is the firstborn, a son that the parents almost worshipped, but in the chapter he also is the only brother who, in the Genesis texts, speaks. While Eve excitedly comments on Cain's birth, she says nothing at Abel's, at least nothing that is recorded in the text, in contrast to the birth of Cain. The narrator simply reports that she bore again in verse 2 of Genesis 4. The name Cain itself is derived from the Hebrew verb qanah, Q-A-N-A-H, which means to acquire, and denotes the acquisition, the possession of something precious and powerful. On the other hand, the Hebrew name Hebel, H-E-B-E-L, in English Abel, means vapour. Psalm 62 verse 9 reads, Surely men of low degree are a vapour, men of high degree are a lie. If they are weighed on the scales, they are altogether lighter than vapour. And Psalm 144 verse 4, Man is like a breath, his days are like a passing shadow. And so this word Hebel denotes elusiveness, emptiness, lack of substance. The same word Hebel, Abel, is used repeatedly in Ecclesiastes for vanity. Though we don't want to read more into these short texts than is there, perhaps the idea is that Adam and Eve's hope rested, they believed, only in Cain, because they believed he, not his brother, was the promised Messiah. And so to finish the day, what are things in life that truly are Hebel, but that we treat as if they mattered much more than they do? Why is it important to know the difference between what matters and what doesn't? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind, and It Is Written. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. Remember, God is always faithful.